Welcome once again to another edition of Shelf Life Book Reviews Online. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Hopefully you will find the two books that I'm mentioning worthy of purchasing because I very highly recommend them. And as always, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. And if you're watching this on Shelf Life's Facebook page, please like it and send this link to your friends. There are two books, two fiction books, very highly recommended. The very first is Vince Flynn's Enemy at the Gates by Kyle Mills. This is published by Emily Bessler Atria, and it retails for $38.99. When Vince Flynn passed away in 2013, the world lost an amazing writer. His creation of the Mitch Rapp character was one of the most loved characters, and anyone who loved a great thriller loved Mitch Rapp. Vince Flynn wrote 13 books before his passing in 2013, and there was a search for the next author to continue the series. They just didn't want it to end because there was a lot more to be told of Mitch Rapp's life. And Kyle Mills was chosen, and since he was chosen back then in 2014, there have been 7 Mitch Rapp books. Now, a lot of people said, well, it's not the same as the original. Well, no, nothing is the same as the original. But Kyle Mills has done an excellent job of keeping the mystique of the Mitch Rapp character alive in each of his books. And Enemy at the Gates certainly proves that he has what it takes to continue this series for as long as he wants to write it. So, this book, Mitch Rapp is always in trouble, and this one is no exception. There's a new president of the United States, President Anthony Cook, and he is not too friendly toward Mitch Rapp. All past presidents have welcomed Mitch Rapp with open arms because he's like a mercenary. He goes to distant countries. He helps save the United States from terrorist attacks and other attacks. But actually, Mitch Rapp is pretty well close to retirement. He went to South Africa to live with his family, and all he really wants to do is race his bicycles. But the best laid plans do sometimes go awry, as there he meets trillionaire Nicholas Ward, who comes to him and he wants him to help find David Chisholm. David Chisholm has created antidote for viruses, but Anthony Cook, the president, does not want David Chisholm's virus remedy to become worldwide. He wants him stopped, so he hires a warlord in Africa, Gideon Auma, to go and neutralize him, and at the same time neutralize Mitch Rapp, because Anthony Cook does not want Mitch Rapp around. Okay. So anyways, as usual, Mitch Rapp gets into a lot of danger, and with the help of his partner, Scott Kennedy, who's in a lot of the books, past books, and there are Scott Coleman, it is Irene Kennedy, who is the head of the CIA, who is a good friend to Mitch, and she doesn't agree with Anthony Cook's decisions. So it becomes a battle for survival as the warlord is after Mitch Rapp and David Chisholm, and there's a lot of the usual deaths, sabotage, murders, the whole bit, and as you would find in any Mitch Rapp book. So as we get toward the end of the book, it almost seems as if Mitch Rapp, his days are numbered, but as always, Mitch Rapp manages to escape by the seat of his pants, and you will have a thrilling read. It is a difficult book to put down, so if you have not read a Mitch Rapp book, get on board. This is the time to do it. And if you have read all the Mitch Rapp books and want to continue with this series, this is one of the best. So make Enemy at the Gates your friend when you go to the bookstore, and do pick up a copy today. The second book of note that I want to draw to your attention is the Doomsday Book of Fairy Tales by Emily Brewes. This is published by Dundurn, and it retails for $21.99. This is a different kind of book. So if you like a sort of post-apocalyptic fantasy where the world has been decimated, this time it is not through a killer virus, it has been through climate change, where people are starving and the world is in shambles, and Jesse Vanderchuck and his family head toward the underground to survive. Now, they take everybody there except their father. He stays above. Now, Jesse's sister Olivia is upset that her mother brought the family to the underground and left the father behind. So Olivia decides to go back up to the surface and presumably look to see if she can find her father. So they survive. Well, Jesse survives. And the book advances 35 years later, where he comes back up. The world is still in not exactly the best shape. And so he comes across a dog that he calls Doggo, and it is a talking dog. As well, why not have a talking dog in a book about fairy tales? And so he starts the big search for his sister Olivia, and he heads back to where their original homestead was. And he finds this girl, and she looks at him. She thinks he's some, perverted stranger who's come upon her. And when he tries to tell her that's her brother, she says, "No, my brother had a scar or something." So he shows her his scar, and she believes that it is his brother. So where the fairy tales come into the book, to help cope and to survive and to help keep his sanity, Jesse relates this whole series of fairy tales. Now, they're takes on popular fairy tales, and they're very interesting, fairy tales, and where everybody hopefully lives happily ever after. But in this post-apocalyptic world, there is not really a lot of happiness. There's just a lot of a quest for survival. So if you like post-apocalyptic books where there's it's like dark and desolate and dreary, then the Doomsday Book of Fairy Tales will definitely get your attention and keep your attention throughout the entire book. Emily Brewes has written a most interesting think piece because it looks at how climate change can destroy the world. So considering the fact what is going on in the news today and the talk of climate change, this fiction could one day become fantasy. Hopefully it won't become as dark and desolate as the world in this book. But it is definitely a book that will open your eyes to a very talented author. So hopefully you'll pick up a copy of the Doomsday Book of Fairy Tales, because it's definitely one great book. So those are the two books I wanted to draw to your attention this time out. Hopefully when you go to your bookstore, you will seriously consider purchasing them. So please send me your comments if you agree with this video and what I have said about the two books. So as always, thank you for watching me. Hopefully you will continue to watch future episodes, because I'm doing several of these a week. So stay safe, stay sane, stay social distancing, and do stay in touch. Thanks again, and bye for now.